Now we're going to show you how switching into 16-bit mode can help you, possibly help you, with the quality of your imagery as far as loss of information is concerned. Now this is really only going to be applicable when you're wanting to get more out of your file than maybe you should, especially with bigger images, wall portraits and the like. In any case, I'll just give you an example of what I mean. A lot of times we'll get an image like this and we'll want to make some sort of a color adjustment, like a curves adjustment. I'll go in here and show you what I mean. We open up curves. There's actually an action that we use to do this called a simple pop. And it just really gives us a little curves adjustment, a little S curve. And you can see what that does is it just kind of pops the colors a little bit, gives me a little saturation boost, a little contrast boost maybe. And what you'll see is I did that on an adjustment layer. I'm going to flatten that, and then you'll see what happens as a result of that in my histogram. I have these gaps, and these gaps represent data loss, or in layman's terms, the image has been compromised from a quality standpoint. The computer's actually trying to interpolate for the adjustment that you made to that image, and as a result, there are gaps in your histogram. I'll go back in my history before I made the adjustment. You can see that there are no gaps, and then again after I made the adjustment, there's the gaps, and my histogram has changed. Well, there's a way to avoid that, and the way to do it is to go up into Image, Mode, 16 bits a channel. Now notice what happens when you do that. Look down here where it says that the size of my image is 95.1 megs. Before I made the adjustment in my history channel, I'll go back to open. Before I made it, it's 47.5 megs, and after I make that adjustment, my file size basically doubles. So what that really means is that I have an awful lot more data to work with now in this mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the exact same color adjustment. Go back to curves, and I'm going to give it this little tiny color pop just by making this little S curve. I'll hit OK. There's my curves adjustment layer, and you can see the difference. And I'll go up into layer and flatten my image again. And then what I'm going to do is go into image mode and switch back to 8 bits a channel, because that's how my lab wants it anyway. That's what they print from. But now look what happens if I open up my histogram. There aren't any gaps, and that indicates that I don't have the potential loss in quality that I may have had I not gone into 16-bit mode. Again, this is mostly applicable for bigger imagery and when you're trying to stretch kind of the boundaries or the parameters of maybe what you should be doing with your imagery as far as boosting the contrast or saturation or any other color adjustments that you make. In any case, this is just a little safeguard, and we actually, it's included in many of our actions. You'll see here in the black and white or brown tone action. I'll open up the black and white, and you can see it here before it makes this adjustment. It converts it to 16-bit, and then at the end it converts it back to 8-bit. So I've built this technique in particular into most of our actions that make those color adjustments, just as a precaution.